Hello, welcome back to another Theory Thursday. Today we are doing a chord analysis of one of the most popular jazz tunes of all time, Autumn Leaves. This one's a bit of a cooler history. Now, they all have great histories and stories behind them, usually, but I like this one because it was actually a French tune written by Joseph Cosma in 1945. And it wasn't until 1950 that Johnny Mercer took it and wrote English lyrics to it, and then became what we know today in the English-speaking world. So that's what we're doing today. I've got my Timex Weekender on with the olive band and my gold tweed tie. That's what's going on. As always, if you've been enjoying the tune videos, theory videos, just the music videos, any of it, a like and subscribe is always appreciated. Of course, not necessary. Just keeps the channel going and the community growing. So, without further ado, Autumn Leaves chord analysis. Let's go. Okay, here we are. Autumn Leaves. You see Johnny Mercer's name is up here, even though he was just the one that did the English version of it. Okay, this is played in all kinds of keys, and the one I have here is in E minor / G major. I'm pretty sure the original, a lot of jazz heads will tell you, oh no, you gotta play in B flat, but I don't know. Play whatever you want. That's what I say. It's all the same. So today we're going to analyze this as E minor / G major. How do I know that? Well, let's start off. 1 sharp, which means we're either in G major or E minor. And the first line here is a 2-5-1 in G major. However, the last chord here is minor, and most of the tune is in minor. So I'm going to analyze this as E minor, but you can do it however you want. If it's easier for you to do it in G major, you be my guest. So I'm just going to write out the chords of the E minor key here. A, B, C, D. Now this B7 is the weird one, right? Because to make it an E natural minor, it would be, let me fix this too. It would be a B minor, right in the key of G. But we're talking harmonic because we do see a lot of B7s in here, which is just another indicate this D sharp is what tells me, okay, maybe we should think about this in terms of E minor. All right, let's get to it. So this first line here, you can call this whatever you want. You can call it a 2-5-1 in G, and then we change keys. I'm going to call it a, we're just, all of this is in the key. It's got a 4 chord. Call it a 7 chord. Call it a 3 chord. Oops. Got our 6. Got our 2 half diminished. A little 2-5-1 action. Right, and again, this B7 is what's telling me, okay, maybe we should think about this in terms of E minor. Okay, and then we just get another E minor here. It repeats, goes back to the top. And so we'll go on to the second ending here. And it's just the same as the first. Let me clean this up just a tad. 5, 1. Easy peasy. Get a repeat. Keep on trucking. 2 half diminished. 5, 1. Easy peasy. We got another repeat. Keep on rolling here. Now this is cool. We have another. You could call this a key change. I mean, I suppose you could, because we are, centering around another chord, but I don't know. I'm going to call it a 2, or 4, 7, 3. Get our repeat here. And we're back to our 2, 5. I'm guessing a 1 comes after this. Oh, now here's a cool line. Okay. Before we do this mess, let's finish it off here. We have our 6, we have our 5, we have our 1, and then our repeat. Okay, so let's take a look at this. This is cool. So what chords are actually in the key here? 1. This one. We have our minor 1, and we know we end up at our 6 here. So we go from here to here to here. How does that work? Well, this is what we would call a tritone sub. Okay, why does that work? Because where we're going, D minor. If you wanted, you could put an A7 here, right? That's the 5 of D minor. That would be an A7. Now, I know we've done this before, but I'll spell it out one more time. Tritone sub, A. So if, let's just say we used an A7 here, and we're going to a minor chord. So let's do flat 9. Okay, so we have an A flat 9 chord, which could go here, but that's not what the composer did here. He put an E flat. So the way the tritone sub works is you can take any dominant chord you want and substitute it a tritone away. So in this case, we have an E flat. A to E flat is a tritone. So let's spell out this chord: E flat, G, B flat, D flat. Is that right? That's our chord here. E flat 7. So let's just take a look at this. G and G is the same. B flat and B flat is the same. And wouldn't you know it, we have N harmonic equivalents here. C sharp and D flat. So what's the difference? The root note. That's it. That's the difference. So that's why this works. That's why tritone subs are so cool, because it's all the same notes, might be in a different order, but it's the same thing. It's the same notes. Serves the same function. So we call this a tritone sub for A7. And what happens is you get this great bass motion. E, half step down to E flat, half step down to D. Okay, so let's keep rolling here. D minor to D flat to C. Now, I know we're ending up at C, the major 6 chord. So I would call this a 2 of, oops, so used to writing 2s and 5s, 2 of 6. Right, because D minor is not in the key of E minor here. You'd need an F natural for that. So that tells me that. So where's this D flat come from? Well, same thing. Same thing as here. The tritone sub. What goes to C? What would fit here? A G7. What's a tritone away from G7? You guessed it, D flat. So, just for funsies, spell it out. D flat, F, A flat, C flat. That's a D flat 7 chord. Now normally we'd have a G7 here. G, B, D, F. Make it a flat 9 if you want. And what do we have? F to F, A flat to A flat. And our enharmonics, you don't see this too often. The C flat is the same as B. Natural. Very cool. So it's another tritone sub, G7, which is acting as that 5 of 6. Cool. And oh, that's it. We're done. We have our 1 chord and then our repeat. So that wraps it. Autumn Leaves, E minor. Now, like I said, you could do this whole thing in the lens of G major if you wanted, if that's easy for you. But we do have a lot of minor here, and I don't know if we don't ever have a B minor chord. They're always B7, B dominant 7, which screams E minor to me. So that's what I did it as. Anyway, I think that's enough for today. Hopefully you learned something, or at least found it interesting, and we'll see you for the next one.